Improve or ease pressure. These tips can assist you with halting enthusiastic eating, battle longings, recognize your triggers, and discover all the more fulfilling approaches to take care of your emotions. Young lady eating cheap food chicken sandwich, food select stick staying from it, specks of food swinging from her lips. What is enthusiastic eating? We don't generally eat just to fulfill physical craving. A considerable lot of us likewise go to nourishment for comfort, stress alleviation, or to compensate ourselves. Furthermore, when we do, we will in general reach for shoddy nourishment, desserts, and other encouraging however undesirable nourishments. You may go after a 16 ounces of dessert when you're feeling down, request a pizza in case you're exhausted or forlorn, or swing by the drive-thru following an upsetting day at work. Passionate eating is utilizing food to cause yourself to feel better, to fill enthusiastic necessities, as opposed to your stomach. Shockingly, enthusiastic eating doesn't fix passionate issues. Truth be told, it ordinarily aggravates you feel. A short time later, not exclusively does the first intense subject matter remain, however you likewise feel regretful for gorging. Is it true that you are a passionate eater? Do you eat more when you're feeling focused? Do you eat when you're not eager or when you're full? Improve to quiet and alleviate yourself when you're pitiful, frantic, exhausted, restless, and so forth. Do you reward yourself with food? Do you routinely eat until you've stuffed yourself? Does food cause you to feel safe? Do you feel like food is a companion? Do you feel frail or wild around food? The enthusiastic eating cycle. Once in a while utilizing food as a jolt of energy, a prize, or to celebrate isn't really an awful thing. Be that as it may, when eating is your essential enthusiastic method for dealing with stress, when your first drive is to open the cooler at whatever point you're focused on, furious, irate, forlorn, depleted, or exhausted, you stall out in an unfortunate cycle where the genuine inclination or issue is rarely tended to. Passionate appetite can't be loaded up with food. Eating may feel great at the time, however the emotions that set off the eating are still there. Also, you regularly feel more awful than you did before due to the pointless calories you've recently devoured. You beat yourself for failing and not having more resolution. Exacerbating the issue, you quit learning more beneficial approaches to manage your feelings, you have an increasingly hard time controlling your weight, and you feel progressively weak over both food and your sentiments. Be that as it may, regardless of how feeble you feel over food and your emotions, it is conceivable to roll out a positive improvement. You can learn more beneficial approaches to manage your feelings, maintain a strategic distance from triggers, overcome desires, lastly shut down passionate eating. The contrast between passionate appetite and physical yearning. Before you can break liberated from the pattern of passionate eating, you first need to figure out how to recognize enthusiastic and physical yearning. This can be trickier than it sounds, particularly on the off chance that you normally use food to manage your sentiments. Passionate craving can be amazing, so it's anything but difficult to confuse it with physical appetite. In any case, there are intimations you can search for to assist you with distinguishing physical and passionate craving. Enthusiastic craving goes ahead unexpectedly. It hits you in a moment and feels overpowering and dire. Physical appetite, then again, goes ahead more step by step. The desire to eat doesn't feel as desperate or request moment fulfillment, except if you haven't eaten for quite a while. Enthusiastic appetite pines for explicit solace nourishments. At the point when you're genuinely eager, nearly anything sounds great, including solid stuff like vegetables. Be that as it may, passionate appetite desires lousy nourishment or sweet bites that give a moment's surge. You have an inclination that you need cheesecake or pizza, and everything else should be ignored. Enthusiastic yearning regularly prompts thoughtless eating. Before you know it, you've eaten an entire sack of chips or a whole 16 ounces of frozen yogurt without truly focusing or completely getting a charge out of it. At the point when you're eating because of physical yearning, you're ordinarily increasingly mindful of what you're doing. Enthusiastic appetite isn't fulfilled once you're full. You continue needing to an ever-increasing extent, frequently eating until you're awkwardly stuffed. Physical yearning, then again, shouldn't be full. You feel fulfilled when your stomach is full. Passionate appetite isn't situated in the stomach. Instead of a snarling paunch or an ache in your stomach, you feel your appetite as a hankering you can't escape your head. You're centered around explicit surfaces, tastes, and scents. Enthusiastic craving regularly prompts lament, blame, or disgrace. At the point when you eat to fulfill physical appetite, you're probably not going to feel remorseful or embarrassed in light of the fact that you're basically giving your body what it needs. On the off chance that you feel remorseful after you eat, it's presumable on the grounds that you realize where it counts that you're not eating for dietary reasons. Passionate appetite versus physical craving. Passionate appetite goes ahead suddenly, physical hunger goes ahead bit by bit. Passionate appetite feels like it should be fulfilled instantly, physical craving can pause. Passionate appetite needs explicit solace foods, physical hunger is available to alternatives, heaps of things sound great. Passionate craving isn't happy with a full stomach. Physical hunger stops when you're full. Passionate eating triggers sentiments of blame, frailty, and shame. Eating to fulfill physical appetite doesn't cause you to feel awful about yourself. Recognize your enthusiastic eating triggers. The initial phase in ending enthusiastic eating is recognizing your own triggers. What circumstances, spots, or emotions make you go after the solace of food? Most passionate eating is connected to undesirable sentiments, yet it can likewise be activated by positive feelings, for example, remunerating yourself for accomplishing an objective or praising an occasion or glad occasion. Basic reasons for passionate eating. Stress. Ever notice how pressure makes you hungry? It's not simply in your brain. At the point when stress is constant, as it so frequently is in our disorderly, quick-paced world, your body delivers elevated levels of the pressure hormone, cortisol. Cortisol triggers desires for salty, sweet, and seared nourishments, food sources that give you an eruption of vitality and delight. The more uncontrolled worry in your life, the more probable you are to go to nourishment for passionate help. Stuffing feelings. Eating can be an approach to incidentally quiet or stuff down awkward feelings, including outrage, dread, bitterness, uneasiness, dejection, hatred, and disgrace. While you're desensitizing yourself with food, you can maintain a strategic distance from the troublesome feelings you'd preferably not feel. Fatigue or sentiments of vacancy. Do you ever eat basically to give yourself something to do, to diminish weariness, or as an approach to fill a void in your life? You feel unfulfilled and void, and food is an approach to possess your mouth and your time. At the time, it tops you off and occupies you from basic sentiments of purposelessness and disappointment with your life. Youth propensities. Recollect your cherished recollections of food. Did your folks reward great conduct with dessert, take you out for pizza when you got a decent report card, or serve you desserts when you were feeling dismal? These propensities can frequently persist into adulthood. Or on the other hand, your eating might be driven by sentimentality, for appreciated recollections of barbecuing burgers in the terrace with your father or heating and eating treats with your mother. Social impacts. Getting along with others for a dinner is an extraordinary method to soothe pressure, however it can likewise prompt indulging. It's anything but difficult to enjoy essentially on the grounds that the food is there or in light of the fact that every other person is eating. You may likewise indulge in social circumstances out of apprehension. Or then again, maybe your family or friend network urges you to indulge, and it's simpler to oblige the gathering. Keep an enthusiastic eating journal. You most likely perceived yourself in any event a couple of the past depictions. Be that as it may, all things considered, you'll need to get significantly progressively explicit. Probably the most ideal approaches to recognize the examples behind your passionate eating is to keep track with a food and state of mind journal. Each time you indulge or feel constrained to go after your variant of solace food kryptonite, pause for a minute to make sense of what set off the inclination. In the event that you backtrack, you'll ordinarily locate an upsetting occasion that kicked off the enthusiastic eating cycle. Record it all in your food and disposition journal: what you ate or needed to eat, what happened to agitate you, how you felt before you ate, what you felt as you were eating, and how you felt a while later. After some time, you'll see an example develop. Possibly you generally wind up pigging out yourself subsequent to investing energy with a basic companion. Or then again, maybe you stress eat at whatever point you're on a cut-off time or when you go to family works. When you distinguish your passionate eating triggers, the subsequent stage is recognizing more advantageous approaches to take care of your emotions. Find different approaches to take care of your emotions. In the event that you don't have the foggiest idea how to deal with your feelings in a manner that doesn't include food, you won't have the option to control your dietary patterns for long. Diets so regularly come up short since they offer sensible, nourishing counsel which possibly works on the off chance that you have cognizant power over your dietary patterns. It doesn't work when feelings seize the procedure, requesting a quick result with food. So as to stop passionate eating, you need to discover different approaches to satisfy yourself inwardly. It's insufficient to comprehend the pattern of enthusiastic eating or even to comprehend your triggers, despite the fact that that is a gigantic initial step. You need options in contrast to food that you can go to for passionate satisfaction. Options in contrast to enthusiastic eating. In case you're discouraged or desolate, call somebody who consistently causes you to feel better, play with your canine or feline, or take a gander at a most loved photograph or loved token. In case you're restless, exhaust your anxious vitality by moving to your main tune, crushing a pressure ball, or taking a B.